Kia ora tātou. I'm Amanda, here from Digital Boost, and I'm covering for our usual host, Anamari, who is unwell at the moment, as a few people are, but covering for her. And I welcome you all, and thank you all for joining us from near and far, whether New Zealand or overseas, wherever you're joining us today. So today we have Tip from Digital Boost, who will be taking us through a how-to session about digital tools for hospitality and what you could be using and thinking about those. So these sessions are a great opportunity to get your questions answered by the experts. So make them work for you and your business by asking plenty of questions. You can use the Q&A, the chat or comment section, depending on where you're tuning in from and what platform you're using. So kia ora Tip, thank you for joining us today. We appreciate your time and expertise. So over to you.
Oh, amazing, Amanda. Thanks so much for joining. And just so everyone knows, I'm definitely going to get Amanda in on this. She's got some experience in this as well. And yeah, I guess welcome everyone to Digital Hospital. This is a really important topic for me. I've literally put my name forward to do this because I guess for me, I love going out to hospital places. I love it when people do things right. I love, like, I guess, and actually the first point is my family have owned small restaurants like for most of my life. So, you know, growing up in my teenage years, I was creative director, I was art director, I was head of marketing, I was head of, my parents being from Thailand didn't really understand the whole, I guess the digital side of it as much. They were most like, my dad's a chef, my mum was front of house manager, I'd say, but like it was sometimes just really small restaurants. So I did a lot of the like marketing, a lot of the digital, all that kind of stuff. When I left, so my family had back in Christchurch. I'm up in Auckland now. I worked in hospital for the rest of my life here. I tried a retail job for about 3 months and not for me. Apparently this was in my blood. So yeah, I was a manager at like heaps of different places. I was posted at Albert, Cook Brothers Bar. I worked in a kitchen as well. And I've been known as a hospitality author. So, like that was not given by me, but I kind of do a bit of everything. And I've went to uni, did a Bachelor of Business. So, I think I've kind of got the best of both worlds in terms of like, I know how it works. I go out a lot. I like supporting my local. I love food. So does Amanda. So we're going to talk a lot about food, I'm sure. And yeah, so welcome everyone to those joining wherever you are. And yeah, we'll kind of get started with this like really boring data slide. It could be boring, it could be fun, but this kind of shows the percentage of people in accommodation and food services who use different type of tools. So we might come back to this a bit later, but I think you can see that like certain tools like social media, there's 82% of food service and accommodation businesses to use it. 79% have a website, 75. So essentially, if you're in that 21% for a reason, you can see that all your competitors, all your peers, are doing like quite a lot with it. And you can see, like maybe there's like, there's cloud tools for collaboration, maybe not as many people using it, but you can see, there's a lot of different like tools people are using. And if you're not using them, then definitely consider it. So yeah, in terms of all businesses, this is this as well. So this is something to look forward to. But you can see that like, 57% of all businesses use social media. But if you go back a slide, 82% of people in your industry use it. You can see 63% have a website, 79% have a website for food. So, you don't want to be outside of that 82% or that 79%. Yeah, so that's definitely interesting. So yeah, we'll kind of just run through like some tools. I'm sure that most of you will have at least some of these, if not all of them. And, we welcome discussion on what's working, what's not. But some of them, are pretty obvious. Some of them, maybe you need to think about or get more information on, and we're happy to help answer some questions on that. So online ordering, really simple. I'm sure most of us have used it in some way, but, whether it be from an app or from a website, it allows you to free up stuff from phone calls. So, sometimes like I guess, like we all know, when you're really busy, like time, like you can be quite time poor. So, having an online ordering system is actually quite good because, the orders can keep coming in, but your staff don't need to stop what they're doing. They can keep going, they can keep like packing things, they can keep, etc. So yeah, I think like the number one use is honestly time. And obviously there's a percentage that they take, but if you're busy enough on a day, like it definitely will add up to counter that, because you're able to do more and your staff are more efficient with their time, because instead of doing like pick up the phone and be like, oh sorry, what did you say, and I guess if we go to the second to last point, even skipping a bit, the accuracy of orders is really good as well, because the customer can look at all the products, they can say no tomato, no extra fries and stuff. And sometimes like when you're in a really busy restaurant, sometimes you can't pick that information up as easily. So this is a good way to get accurate orders in while saving time. So, there's no like mess at the end where they're like, oh, actually I asked for no this, or I ordered 3 instead of 2, but because of the shoddy phone line, I'm sure we've all had phone calls from people with phone lines that weren't so great. Going to the second point, it allows you to collect customer data or data, such as emails. So, it's really easy to, people want to put in their email to get a receipt, etc. And you can say, hey, sign up for my newsletter, which we'll go to in a second. But essentially, collecting any data of your customers is a really important way to keep talking to them, essentially. So maybe they've online ordered from you once, but you've got their email, you can send them like marketing emails or little updates on who you are and what you're doing, and it's so valuable. And this is like probably the easiest way for people to want to give you their email, because people aren't just going to give their email for nothing. But if they're purchasing with you and they're clearly interested, and maybe like I'm sure they had like a great meal or a great time booking with you or ordering something online, it's a really good way to do that. Increased revenue is the third point. So again, this is like what we talked about before in terms of like, of course there's a percentage taken, but if you can pump out more orders, then hopefully it should balance out. I know it's not the same for all businesses, but definitely, you can put more orders out because your team are more efficient with their time, less time on the phone, more time, I guess, getting things through, which I guess also means easier for your customer, because it's just easier than going on the phone. They can do it like on the bus on the way to pick up. They can, if they're ordering if I'm sure many of us have ordered for a group of 10 or something like that, and sometimes saying 10 people's orders on the phone, like there is like I guess there is a good chance that like someone got something wrong, probably not on your end but on their end, whereas if you do it online, it's all on them. They can double check it really easily. So super simple. And yeah, so that's kind of it for online ordering. Pretty straightforward because I think we all know and love it. And yeah, anything to add, Amanda from Digital Boost?
I was just having a think. I was reading about some increases in revenue recently for a business called Goodness Gracious, which is a bagelry in Eden Terrace, and they implemented an online ordering system which saw up to 30% of their sales in one day being made through their online ordering system. So it can be quite a significant chunk to reach some of those audiences that are tech savvy. Makes it very easy for them. So make that journey easy for your customers to get to you and purchase your products.
Yeah, cool, nice, amazing. Yeah, so it's online ordering. I think definitely if you do a lot of takeaway orders, it's honestly a necessity. I think the difference between 2 restaurants down the road, but one. Also, actually, something we actually forgot to mention is if you're already on the line, it's a busy Friday night, you're on the line, someone tries to call you, you can't pick up because you're already talking to someone, they might try to call back straight away, but if they might be like, oh, maybe you're closed or something, online ordering negates that completely. So you can have 10 people order at the exact same time, and then there's like if I tried to call Amanda's takeaway shop, but she was already on the phone because she's so busy and her food's so great, you know, it's not like I might go to, you know, Tim's takeaway down the street because he picked up, you know. So it can literally mean the difference between like an order or not, you know. So yeah, so that's online ordering. Order at table apps is the next one. This is super new. It's kind of similar to, it's very similar to online ordering, but it's more so focused on the dine-in customers. So yeah, if you haven't used it before, you can kind of see in the picture, but also I will caveat that this is not for everyone. This is for certain types of restaurants and bars and businesses. It's not for everyone, but if it is for you, it can be really beneficial. So you can see that there's like a QR code on the table, on each table, and essentially you scan it with your phone, because everyone has one of those now, and then you order everything. There's like an online menu on your phone, and you just order everything from there, like quantity, make comments, etc., and go straight to the kitchen. And you can also take payments on it as well if you want. You can either do it or you don't have to. But it's a really great system if you're a really busy restaurant, if you're a really busy bar, you've got a lot of seats, you know, maybe like you're quite spread out. So, you know, like we've all been places where like there's a table all the way over there, right? So definitely something really interesting to consider if, you know, you are quite busy with dining. And, you know, I guess the key benefit I put at the top is you can free up your staff from like waiting tables and continuously, like I've worked as a waiter quite a lot, but sometimes you're circling a table who doesn't know what they're ordering, and it can be a bit annoying because you're like, oh, are you ready? But then, you know, they're still thinking and stuff, but like this kind of puts the power onto them. I think a hybrid model is probably the best in terms of like, if they do want to order at the bar, they can, but this makes it easier because I think like, it just makes it a lot easier to order things, right? Because everyone has a phone anyways. Well, most people have a phone anyways these days, but you know, yeah. And then essentially instead of your waiters circling tables like a hawk, which I've done before, you can just, you know, and then I guess, you know, if they get stuck somewhere talking to someone or clearing something, then your customers are happy because like, you know, sometimes it honestly happens, like, you know, you miss a table because, you know, you're really busy or you're stuck talking to another table. It kind of negates that, you know, negative feeling in terms of like, okay, like everyone at my table is ready to order, I'll just order on my phone. So yeah, so that's free up staff. You can also collect customer data again. So emails, again, really important to collect. That's like the number one way to talk to your customers. So, you know, it gives you the opportunity to say, hey, like put in your email to get, I don't know, a free jalapeno popper, or, you know, or even just say put in your email to get a receipt, and then people get a receipt sent to them, and then you've got their data, right? And that's really important. Like I think a lot more businesses should think about collecting data because it's a way to keep talking to your customer after they've left. Yeah, again, increase revenue. You can like, you know, if it's essentially going back to the start, your staff is more free to do other stuff. I think that's the key part, again, which means they can pump more beers out, they can make more cocktails, they can make more food, you know. Again, so, you know, less time doing the stuff, you know, the waiting around to take orders, and more time doing the actual stuff that will make the revenue. Ease for your customer is a big one. So, you know, again, they don't have to wait. And then the rest of it is really similar to online ordering. So there's accuracy of orders. Again, you know, now like if you've forgotten to write something down on the sheet, that's not going to happen, right? Because they're going straight to the kitchen via their phone. It's easy. And yeah, and the last point I've already mentioned, but more time for your staff to bring value to customers. So, you know, clear tables, you know, ask for refills, right? You can like maybe, you know, the first round's pretty easy to do on the phone, but you know, maybe like you can go ask for refill, like your staff can focus more on getting more revenue. And Amanda, any thoughts on this? Amanda and I went as a team with our team to a place that did this a few weeks ago, and it was really fun. So
Yeah, it makes it a lot easier, and you, as a customer, you feel, I guess, less guilty that you're sitting there wondering, oh, what do I want to order? And so you can kind of take that time as a customer to pick and go through and discuss with your table what you'd like and add it as you go, so that the staff, you don't feel so guilty that the staff are standing there waiting. Again, like for a large table of 15 of us, that waiter could have been standing there with us for 5 to 10 minutes and he could have been serving other tables. So absolutely, ease of ordering, I think, is a really key part of that, and freeing up your staff to focus on the things that a human can do. Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. Cool. Nice. You can see my slide, right, Amanda? Yeah, cool. Amazing. Cool. So okay, so those are two of my favorites, but I guess we'll go to more other stuff. I think those two are a really great way to free up your staff to do more things. So on your busy service, you can maximize, like your Friday, your Saturday nights, your Saturday afternoons, your Sunday afternoons, etc. So yeah, the next one is boosting customer loyalty. So kind of goes back to the emails, but because of like POS systems or point of sale systems and like mobile technology, you can a lot more easily reward customers. So, you don't need those physical coffee cards or forms that sit on your counter. You can use digital tools to run reward program that's seamless, easy, and automatic. So yeah, again, so I think this is depending on your business. This could work really well. I guess if you're a cafe or you're in a small town or something, and you can have a little QR code that people scan. There's heaps of apps for that to track how many things you've sold, or if you online order like 10 times your coffee 10 times or something, you might get a free one, etc. And yeah, and I guess like using digital, like you can use the power of like notifications, like the notification comes up once you've ordered it or something like that. So definitely, yeah, if you are using like paper things, consider seeing other ones as well. I know I had one coffee one where there's like a little scanner on the counter, and you scan your little card every time you buy something, and it lets you know how many you've got, and then you can notify them people saying, oh, you've only got one more, can grab one more coffee, and then you get a free one. And that might be the difference between them going to someone else or you. Any thoughts, Amanda? My ring just fell off.
Yeah, I guess the other thought I had was you don't necessarily have to create your own app. Like you said, there are apps out there already that you can leverage. One that I can think of, for example, is Goody, and I know a couple of businesses around here that are using that. So it makes it super easy for you to sign on, and you'll get your customers familiar with that, and then they can get those little perks like, oh, free meat add-on or a free upsize. So it's quite handy.
Yeah. Definitely. That's a good point. Actually, I completely forgot to mention like some examples. So, clearly these aren't recommendations. These are examples of popular tools, but so definitely do your research if it's right for you. But just go back a bit. Online ordering, there's heaps of them. So mobile to go, there's like Menulog, there's lots. Even Zomato has it, lots there. Just give it a Google search. Order table apps. I think Mr. Yum, I've seen quite a lot in New Zealand. I think it's an Aussie company as well, so I guess it's semi-local. It's not in San Francisco, it's in Sydney or Melbourne. I think it's in Melbourne. But Mr. Yum, definitely have a look at them. I think they're like the top one in Australasia for this, and I think lots of places are using it, and I've had good experiences using it as a customer. Loyalty, yeah, it was a Goody, wasn't it? I've used that on a few times. But again, there are heaps, and sometimes you might not need that many features. So, pick the one that has enough features for you without paying too much for features you don't need. Because sometimes it's literally just a little scan, but sometimes you want emails, you want to send email addresses, etc. Okay, this one here as well is something I think most businesses are getting these days or on the way to getting. So cloud-based point of sales systems. So they can be quite sophisticated, and they can allow businesses to operate more efficiently, leaving more time to provide better customer service. So, like at a minimum, they should have like a calculator, and, you can tap all the items and it goes straight to the kitchen, right? And and then you can tap different items, you know, that are labeled bar, so then they go to the bar, the kitchen items go to the kitchen, etc., something like that. So these are really great. You know, I think most places are using it. I've been to a few cafes where they do it on paper, which is a bit of fun because you know, I haven't had to do it too much, but if a kitchen member had to see my handwriting, I don't think that would go very well for everyone. So this is a really great way to, yeah, just to make it really efficient and yeah, leave more time. So yes, key benefits of this is a lot, to be honest. Efficiency in terms of like, you know, if you're in a big restaurant, in fact, most of the time, these apps can work on like a phone as well. So I personally don't like it that much when like a waiter's on their phone taking your order, but you could do that if you're like really busy and it saves time. So someone could be on the other side of the building, typing away, saying, putting through an order, and then it could go straight to the kitchen on the other side of the building. So that's a really, really great way to, I guess, you know, they don't have to leave their section. They can stay outside, whereas the kitchen just gets orders just like that. So that's one. Also, yeah, I guess the data you get from these is really good. So you can see which items are performing really well, which ones aren't performing well. You know, you can track your staff members and how much they're upselling stuff, if that's something that you want to do. So you can see that, you know, tip probably, you know, Tip's average coffee per customer maybe is 2, whereas is only 1, whereas Amanda's 1.7 because she's really good at starting and second coffees, and maybe Tip needs, you know, more training on that, which is, you know, fair and good. So stuff like that is, you know, you can get a lot of data with it, and you know, if you're a data person, you can definitely learn a lot from these. So again, you do have to pay for these services, but the value you get out of them, I think, is quite great. Also, it tracks how much you've earned each night, so it makes hopefully cash up a bit easier to cross-check, and your revenue, you know, say you've used it for a couple of years, you can see, you know, what your busy days are, so it makes it a lot easier to like roster on. So say, you know that in the middle of June, like around Queen's birthday, a lot of people flock to your town, so let's get more stuff in. Or you can see that like November is a bit quieter, so maybe we can just try to reduce hours, whatever. Cloud-based point of sale systems, Amanda, what do you know?
Yeah, and that's a really good point you mentioned about knowing what's popular when in a food service business. So a lot of these POS-based systems have artificial intelligence inbuilt into these systems, so it can tell you not just when you've got your items are popular at certain times, but it can make suggestions on that inventory to say, you know, you should really have a certain amount of stock to be able to create a certain dish at a certain time. So you can preempt that in advance of that busy period. And also for the rostering, some of these systems have rostering systems inbuilt as well of when, you know, those busy periods are, when you'll need extra staff, when you need to have those on, and when you don't need to have staff on. So again, creating those time and cost efficiencies for your business. Yeah,
Definitely. Cool. Yeah, definitely. I think that's something that, you know, definitely do research on, but once you implement the right one for you, you know, it can definitely help in so many ways, so many different ways. So yeah, that's point of sale systems. Free Wi-Fi, I feel like is kind of outdated. I think most people have data anyways, but I think it's something to talk about anyways because it does work for some people. I think free Wi-Fi is a good way to get people in the door, I guess. I guess the issue is I've worked in places where they just get one little thing and then they sit there for hours, and you know they've taken a nice table for hours, which is like can be a bit frustrating sometimes. But yeah, I think the way it could work well is if they have to give you an email to sign up for the Wi-Fi. That's quite a old school tool that has worked, so you can send them emails. Because again, I'll probably keep mentioning emails, but I think if you collect a database of customer emails, it's just like such a good way to talk to people. So definitely consider that, you know, having Wi-Fi there could be something that means someone comes to your cafe versus the one down the road. But that being said, focus on everything else, not just the Wi-Fi. It shouldn't be the selling point. anything to add, or shall I skip forward, Amanda?
I was just going to say, I'm seeing a trend of cafes now, especially with the whole hybrid working situation and people getting sick of working in their office, at home or at the office. They want somewhere different. So I've seen some cafes actually integrating their free Wi-Fi service with also a rent-a-table service at the same time. So they're not making that loss on a customer that's only paying $5 for a coffee and sitting there for 2 hours using a table. They also can charge that table out, say $15 an hour as an example. So that's a new kind of hybrid way of bringing that customer in, but also not losing on that table. Yeah.
Yeah, no, that's a great thought. Definitely, especially if you see a trend of people who, because even for us, we are in Auckland, Central Auckland office, but there's only so many rooms. Like literally before this presentation, Amanda and I had to scramble to find some rooms to sit in and to have a meeting and stuff. And I feel like a lot of businesses, especially growing businesses, don't have the room for meeting spots and stuff. So if you find that you have a lot of people around, definitely have a think of how you can implement something like that, because it's such a great way to get people in the door and get people to stay and stuff like that, and especially during the non-busy times, I guess, maybe you're busy in the weekend, but you live near a business park, maybe that's what gets them through the door. Cool. Cool. So online accounting software, so accounting software is such a good tool for everything. Everything to do with invoices, to do with pay slips, to do with everything to do with money, which clearly is an important thing. You still get a lot of data from it. It allows you to be more organized as well, more time to focus on your business and your family outside the business, which is such an important thing to think about. There are so many different ways to use tools like Xero or NYOB. I'll definitely have a look at it, and research it if you're doing things. Oh, right, and it also makes, the end of the tax year, or, when you really need to look at your finances better, it makes it, I guess, a lot more seamless, where everything is. I will be first to say I did my best when I was, working with my parents, or when I was managing restaurants, to stay away from the money side, because I don't like accounting. But Amanda, I can tell you love accounting, so I'm gonna throw the proverbial torch to you and let you talk about digital online accounting software.
Oh, absolutely love numbers. That's why I'm an accountant. Woohoo! No, I'm not. I really am. I'm not. But again, that's reiterating that your time is a cost as well, and wherever you can find efficiencies and reducing the time that you're spending on your business, and having these automated tools like accounting software be able to give you back that time that is time spent elsewhere, that again you can spend on your family, or spend on ideation of your business, on the things that you can't use software and automation to take away from, where you most add value as a human being, as a connection to your customers, getting you in front of your customers. So that's the thing that I keep liking to speak to our customers about, is don't forget the efficiencies on your time. Your time is precious.
Yeah. If you want to have a look on our platform, I'll show you how to find it at the end. But there's a really great real-world story, which is a customer success story, I guess, or user success story of Digital Boost, of Wise Boys Burger up in Auckland, who were a team of two, and then they're quite young, they just started their business. And then they found, I think they found it such a help. And again, I'll mention everyone I've talked to who have used online accounting systems have just said how valuable it is to be for their time, especially if it's something that, you use a lot of spreadsheets, blah, blah, blah. You know how to do it on spreadsheets, and that's fine. But sometimes the time saving is so valuable. So definitely consider it, have a look, talk to someone about it. Social media. So this is more my cup of tea, but I've only got really basic things, but it allows you to show off your business and products online. So definitely, hospitality is usually quite a visual industry. Well, it definitely is a visual industry. So, the visuals of your team, of who you are, your products, your space is really important to show off, and social media is like the best place to do it. Getting followers is a great way to get your customers thinking about your business. So, sometimes, Amanda and I, we talk about food a lot in the office. Sometimes, I'll see like a cool business on like Instagram, and then I'll be like, hey, like we should go for coffee. It's down the road, etc. I think that's a really great way to discover businesses, especially ones that might not be in your neck of the woods. It allows you to talk to customers and share testimonials as well. So again, if people really want to have comments, it's just a nice place to talk to them. And also like people like, if your space is nice and people like are taking pictures in it, you've got a Instagrammable space, so people taking pictures in it and sharing it on social media, and they're sharing how good your food looks. It's a really great place to put these on your profile, and that way people can kind of see what your product is and stuff like that. So you can see on the right hand side, I went to this place for lunch on Saturday, I think, and then they had like a little scan QR code to follow me on Facebook, and that's such a easy way to get people to follow you on tools. And yeah, Fluff Cafe is our local. You can see that they've got like the perfect, I guess, amount of information here. So I think social media is also like a micro website as well. So you can see you've got opening hours, Monday to Friday, set, Sunday closed. They've got a website, and they also have like a parking guide, because clearly that's an issue when people want to know, where to park, when to visit us. This is where you park. This is their menu. This is their food. This is the media they've been featured on, and then they've got pictures of food, sorry, down the bottom. And that's just like the perfect, like, kind of, simple standard, like there's all the information you need, and some in terms of the visuals. So yeah, I guess, definitely something to consider, and I guess perfect, and definitely get like feedback from your customers and users, I guess. So Amanda, social media, we love it. We think it's really important for hospital businesses.
Yeah, I'm a big fan of social media, and I genuinely think that all hospitality businesses should be leveraging it, because it's, again, that visual opportunity for people far and wide to see your product, to see what you serve. And it doesn't necessarily always have to be your food product. It can be the story behind your business. It can be about the personal journey that you've gone through to getting this business to where it is, and listening to the feedback of the customers and new releases of products. It can be so much more than just, this is what I serve. So it's an opportunity to get really creative, to get really authentic, and to display, what your business is all about, the theme of your business is, who you are, and getting new audiences engaging with you and connecting with your business. So I'm a massive fan of, every hospo business should use Instagram. There's huge potential there to bring new audiences into new customers into your business.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, cool. And yeah, if you need any help, honestly, with it, if you're watching and you're tipping Amanda saying you should, like, social media is so important, you don't know how to use it, get in touch with us. Like, we're more than happy to just run you through, like, some important things, and to explain how to set up your account. I feel like once you set it up, well, that's like the first giant step towards using it well. So yeah, support@digitalboost.co.nz. You can talk to Amanda, myself, or one of our lovely team. And yeah, definitely such a really good, I guess it's such a powerful tool that everyone should be thinking of, especially because it's so relevant to hospital. And I guess if you go all the way back to the start, you can see 57% of all businesses use social media, and accommodation and food, that goes up to 82%, which is huge. So if essentially people are using it because they find value in it, right? So that kind of says a lot. I guess the other thing is I know for a fact that finding stuff is kind of hard right now, and you do have to be quite creative with it. With where you're looking, like you can't just post it in the newspaper. Of course, you even sites like Trade Me or Seek, sometimes it is quite hard to do it, to find staff, sorry. So definitely, have a look and put it everywhere because, I guess since there are so many roles and stuff and people are looking in different places, it's a lot harder to, it's not like before when you could put it on Trade Me and then you get, I mean, maybe you do get a few applications, but if you want the really good people, you might have to be a bit creative. So Helping Hands is a good one. If you haven't heard of it, it's solely for hospital as well. So there's a good market of hospital people, employees going there. SJS, which is Student Job Search, which is a really great place to find mostly part-timer students. So only students can apply on it. So, you're getting a very specific group, but, sometimes you just need some students to fill in, the weekends and stuff. And that's a really great place to find it, And yeah, Trade Me still and Seek is still like popular. So definitely don't forget about them. And social media, again, is actually a great place to find stuff. I know there's like an Auckland bartenders Facebook group where people post jobs and bartenders are like, oh, actually, I might want to work there, etc. Definitely make the most of that. The ones in your area. I know there's a Christchurch hospitality one, I'm sure, but just make the most of the Facebook groups because sometimes people like aren't actually looking, but they might see it on Facebook and think, oh, actually, I don't like my job, but the job at Amanda's restaurant and bar sounds really fun and exciting. So yeah, definitely, especially in such a competitive job seekers market, you do have to be quite creative with where you put your ads. And yeah, any thoughts, Amanda, or should we? Nah, cool, nice. Delivery platforms. So this is the elephant in the room. In terms of like, it can be really, really good or it can be really, really bad for businesses, and it is kind of a touchy subject, I'd say, because it's kind of cannibalizing like dine-ins and pick up takeaways and stuff, because people can just do it from their phones. It's a bit of a necessary evil in the sense of like you do have to in certain cases, depending on your industry, because everyone else is doing it. So if you're not on it, they'll go to someone else. But that being said, you don't want to cannibalize people who would normally call in and pick you up, because if you don't know, there is often quite a big percentage that these platforms take off it. So you either have to absorb it or you have to raise your prices to kind of counter that. So instead of your $13 per tie, it's an $18 per tie. So yeah, we're talking about it because it is quite important and necessary for a lot of businesses. But again, before bringing Amanda on, I will note that if it is not for you and you can survive on takeaway orders using online ordering apps, which often take a much, much lower percentage, definitely stick with that. But if you do want to grow further, or maybe you want to try to make yourself busy on quieter nights, definitely consider these. Because yeah, they can take a big percentage, but they can also grow your audience a lot more, and they're also good for marketing, as Amanda will talk about now.
Yeah, it is it can be a necessary evil, and there are a lot. These platforms have a big audience base, so it is in a way an extra channel for you to market your business. And a lot of businesses now, because of those high commissions, customers are used to paying a little bit extra for that extra service. So you will see sometimes very significant markups of, put a big markup on your products that are on these platforms so that you're not absorbing that cost. And your intention would be that these customers start getting familiar with your product, and will some customers might be a little bit smart and say, oh yes, I like the sounds of that, and will actually go directly to your online ordering platform on your website, for example, or just get a little bit more familiar with yourself. It's a brand awareness campaign in a way, and go direct to you in person at some stage. So they start to, it's a good way of creating that awareness of your product despite the higher costs. But it's getting that extra reach, which, when done well, will benefit your business and grow your revenue.
Definitely, yeah, it's definitely very yeah, good to, I guess, people to find you, because sometimes, you know, you order something online on an app, you know, oh, that was really great, and you go to the restaurant and you're like, oh, that's really great. And I think actually something that I've seen some businesses do, I don't know if it's allowed or not, but I love it, is they send a little note where it's like, you've ordered something online, maybe on like a quiet night, you know, and then they give you like a little business card in your order that says, you know, come visit us and get 10% off, or get a free drink, or, you know, something if you come visit us. And that's like great marketing, right? And yeah, so definitely such a cool way of kind of using the necessary evil but growing your business as well, you know, like, hey, like, come visit us, this is where we're located. You know, definitely recommend using it as a tool to get people in the door as well, because they're going to really enjoy your product and want more, right? So yeah, so that's delivery platforms. The last one is really obvious, but it's websites. Websites are a great tool for everything. You can see Odette has at the menu, they've got an about, they've got their menus, they've got reservations and events, gift vouchers, hours, career. So they've got like all the info you need. They've got all their menus. So Odette's is an all-day eatery. They've got their breakfast, their lunch, their night, their dessert, their brunch, their drinks. They've got everything there, everything you could ever need. So if you're researching a restaurant, if you're researching, you know, maybe Amanda and I are taking our team out to dinner. We've got our clients coming in, so we really need to know, like, you know, what kind of, like, do they have gluten-free options? Do they have, you know, vegan options? Do they have, you know, everything that to, you know, for our team? Instead of calling it, you can, on this website, you can find everything you need. So you can see, okay, cool, they've got a wide range of things. It's a sharing menu, or, you know, etc. So definitely, it's kind of like an encyclopedia for your website, a mini encyclopedia where people can get all the information they need about you. And if you don't have one, then yeah, like, definitely consider it as soon as you can, because, you know, although people might not book straight away from it, like, you know, you might get people walking in the doors because they've seen an updated menu on your website, they've seen pictures of your food, they've seen, you know, what your place looks like, and you can kind of control what it looks like. Yeah, Amanda, anything to add?
Yeah, your website is like your online storefront. So it leaves, it's also an opportunity for you to leave a really good impression of your business, and to display yourself in a way that your customers can not only see your product and your menu, but to see what your restaurant is like, and if it works for what they're looking for. So I reiterate the importance of making sure your website has a great user interface, so your customers can navigate it easily, can find your menu easily, as well as looking nice and modern as well. Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, cool. So that is the end of my slides, but we definitely, you know, if any questions we have, please put them in the chat wherever you are tuning in from. And yeah, I guess, Amanda, do you have any questions for me, or any things you want to discuss that you think we should discuss a bit further?
I've been discussing with a friend that owns a food service business, and that is kind of a challenge, especially through COVID. You know, what are these online tools that we can implement in our business, and where can we find cost efficiencies? And digital tools continue to find these cost efficiencies. It was a 2-year struggle for hospitality businesses to go through a big loss of revenue, and a big loss of customers being able to come through those doors. So these tools allow you the opportunity to get creative, to cut those costs, to bring new reach, to gain new reach, and to bring new customers into your business. So I do really reiterate, consider a lot of these options. What's currently working for your business? What isn't working for your business? What are the costs of these tools? How much time is it going to save? How much cost is it going to save? What is the ROI? And just having a look at your wider business strategy and what will work for you, because these things can help a lot if you experiment and see how it's going to potentially help your business. Yeah,
definitely. Cool. And again, if you do want to have a chat about what might work for you, what might not work for you, we're, welcome to email us at support@digitalboost.co.nz, or if you've joined us, you know where to find us anyway. So
it's a good point as well. So if you're not already registered on the Digital Boost platform, you can sign up to digitalboost.co.nz and sign up. We do have a dedicated section to hospitality and real world stories on there. As you saw before, Fluff Cafe was one of our examples who have utilised a number of digital tools in their business and get your mind thinking on what's possible. Once you've watched a few of those videos on the Digital Boost platform, if you do have any more specific questions, both myself and Tip are a part of the Digital Boost support team. So again, just reach out to us, support@digitalboost.co.nz.
Amazing. Cool. We got an on question. So from staff / business owner perspective, how can technology be managed from a training perspective when onboarding a new employee? So this is a great question. I think most tools do have intuitive technology. So, and also they have training like documents or services from what I've seen, or like training videos and stuff. So yeah, it depends on the tools. Like if it's a point of sales tool, I think most of them are quite intuitive, and once you've set it up well, they work fine. I guess in terms of it depends what kind of. I guess in terms of your onboarding of new employees, it would be something like point of sales tools. It would be something like if you have a social media person. I think most people know social media quite well. And if you find someone who's really talented in that field, they'll kind of know it already. But yeah, feel free to let us know what kind of tools. But anything to add on that, Amanda, on onboarding new employees with these tools?
It could potentially be not an industry specific tool, but from a wider sense of business in general, from when you're going through an induction process with an employee, is having that business Bible or a Bible specific to a role, for example. So you'll have your company Bible, and this can be on a digital tool. Say, for example, a lot of companies might have a Google workspace document, a Google document where they keep all of these key essential health and safety tips, or company tips, or staff Bible, or key responsibilities of your role, or Notion is another example, which is like a sophisticated yet simple note-taking tool. But there's a whole plethora of options out there where you can start storing these key information pieces about your business and the role, and not being specific to hospitality as well. What are your thoughts on that, Tip?
Yeah, definitely. I think it's just like having a Bible for things, like having documentation, because I think people learn quite differently. So some people will honestly be able to pick it up really easily. Some people might need to read it a bit more. And yeah, I guess just make it clear. And I guess, I guess also if you have a POS system, set it up well. I think most people, I've worked in a lot of hospital, and I've never really had issues with people using tools if you taught them well. If you taught them the system, if you give them the documentation, if you give them something to read if they're unsure, I feel like just make it as easy and intuitive for your, employees. Yeah. We've probably got about 5 minutes. We need to cut it off at 5:02, but any other questions, please let us know. Do you have any questions, Amanda, or?
No, all good. I think we shared a lot of insights throughout the session today.
Definitely.
From both my perspective of having been curious about starting my own salad bar one day, maybe I'm still thinking about it, and using one of my postgraduate certificates as a basis for researching, what are these tools out there that can help enhance my hospitality business. So I think based on your experience, Tip, and the research that I did, we had a lot of good bouncing between us throughout the section. Thank you for joining us today and for asking that question as well to one of our attendees. Anything else, Tip? Are we good to go?
Yeah, I think we're good too. I think we can see the sun's in my face. So I'm gonna go for a nice little walk, enjoy some sun, maybe grab a coffee,
Supporting our local
after talking about hospital for so long, I'm really interested in getting some food. So I'll probably go do that. So well done for me. Thanks so much.
Come and join you.
Yeah.
Awesome. Thank you to all of you who attended today. I hope that was helpful and insightful. And again, if you do have any further questions or want to get further support, you can contact us directly at support@digitalboost.co.nz. Otherwise, have a wonderful rest of your Wednesday. We hope to be in touch with you and helping you on your digital journey. Kia ora.